Don't stay in your room just practicing all the time. So why would you want to be perfect?
Because you won't convince anyone.
Oof. That's not easy.
Yeah,
I try, at least when I'm in Berlin, I try to be as much as I can at home.
yeah.
When I'm in Berlin, I try to avoid all extra activities so that I can be home. But then when you are on tour, phone all the time.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
You always had a video chat with your baby.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah. Right.
That's how I do it. But
Yeah.
it's not easy. Want to go first?
Sense of humor or
That helps.
yeah, that helps.
That's a good question.
I mean, obviously, technical ability, that's a must nowadays, I think. I mean, I'm not as long in the orchestra as you, but from the auditions that I experienced, people are always looking for a special, like a unique artist. Not someone that's
Yeah.
kind of average or who just plays nice or, there's something that has something to say.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we look for, because the orchestra is different than many other orchestras because you have really individuals that are
Yeah.
quite a character, and you put them all together.
Yes.
Sometimes it's
Yeah.
completely crazy.
Yeah.
But I think the orchestra also has this characteristic of many individuals that are great. Somehow they manage to play together. Somehow it's not sometimes always. You take the strings, for instance, and you see the players that they play in very different ways. Sometimes also not together, but also because of our hall that takes a lot of sound, you can really play out, and it's a combination of the hall and this kind of approach that gets this fabulous, chocolate warm sound of the orchestra. It's different than Vienna Philharmonic, for instance. There is a hierarchy, the concertmaster, and then everybody tries to follow him. It's smaller in sound, it's more perhaps round. They don't really play out all the time, and they get this really warm silk sound. Berlin Philharmonic, it's more power, it's more
Yes.
muscular,
Yes.
more masculine. It's more, dark chocolate, and also because of the hall. I mean, if you play the way we play in the Musikverein in Vienna, we break the
wouldn't
walls.
work.
It would not work because it's too loud. Sometimes when we play there,
Yeah.
we have to reduce a lot of volume. In Berlin, it's here in the Philharmonic, it's different.
You
The
have-
hall takes lots
You
of
have to
sound.
take into account the acoustic of the hall, meaning you don't have the back reverberations as in Vienna. Vienna is a
Shoebox, yeah.
Yeah,
shoebox.
Like just square, much smaller.
Yeah.
Yes, but meaning that this is supporting the sound in a completely different way,
Yeah.
and we have to produce much more sound
Yeah.
in this hall.
You really have to play out.
So of course
Yeah.
this also helps
It helps. So,
individualistic
kind of,
qualities to come out.
but it's a different approach. It's just
Yes,
different.
it's just different. Yeah. But we were very lucky because we are in this Wien-Berlin orchestra, and so that's a fabulous band. So we are combining both.
And depends
different.
also on the repertoire, I think.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
taste. When they play Mozart, it's
Yeah.
almost impossible to play as well as they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion.
Let's say already professional, but who just started their career.
Don't stay in your room just practicing all the time.
the
Sometimes it's
time.
hard because
Yeah.
the pressure is very high, and
Yeah.
you think you're always behind because
Yeah.
competition is fierce, and you think you have to practice, and you don't feel secure because But I think you have to change a little bit the perspective,
Yeah.
because in the end, music is about you need to have something. You have to tell something
Right.
to people, right? It's not enough to just play the right notes at the right time and clean and so on.
Yes.
So you have to live. You need to read. You need to be like a human being as a whole, I think. But to be locked in your room just practicing all the time, there's a limit. But I understand because as when I was young, I also felt the same.
Yeah.
Because if you get older and then competitions and you know, auditions and so on. You don't know about the future and it's uncertain. You feel I have to practice, you know, and then you go to a room.
And how about you?
No, it's basically the same
Basically
thing.
the same.
Don't go that way of avoidance of mistakes. That's really that's really not going to work, because you won't convince anybody without telling your story.
And there is always an element of risk. I mean, one advice I could give is also there's always a risk when you go on stage because you never know if it's going to really work.
Right.
But you have to make that thing your friend. Instead of being afraid of it, make it the opposite. That you kind of get addicted to it. That you know, it's always a good feeling that you go on stage. You never know if it's going to work, but you know, and then you just go and do it. But make that thing something positive, not negative.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have the thrill of going on stage and playing something. But also, I must say, also in the orchestra, I mean, obviously, you know, we talk for technical qualities and everything, but you can see if someone can play and you make a little mistake because you took some risk or not. I mean, you can always, you can know that, you know.
Well, I always think like if the musician just started their career like 20s, early 20s, maybe mid 20s, it's the time to make mistake and learn.
Nobody's perfect. You're gonna make mistakes anyway, so you might just accept it. You know, like we play with the biggest soloists, they all make mistakes. You know, nobody's perfect. So why would you want to be perfect? That doesn't exist. You know, so accept you're gonna do mistakes and just enjoy it. You know, and if you do big mistakes, so what? You know,
Right.
nobody cares.
It's essential for orchestra musician.
Well, first of all, you have to be very relaxed when you play. Relaxed physically.
Okay.
Because orchestra playing, you're always sitting down. So, you know, through the years, you know, you start getting pain in your neck and your shoulder and your back. And so you have probably find a balance and think long term. Because when you're young, usually you don't have those kind of problems. Like I'll be 40 this year, so you know, you start feeling, you know, not the same when you were 20. You know, I think it's important to take care of that.
That's a very good point Luiz makes. You're practicing like mad in order to get your position. But then there are 40 or years of professional experience before you.
Also, doesn't have the sound if you're tensed. You get a good sound, really.
Yeah.
You see with conductors when they're tense and you know the sound, even it transmits to the musician. Of course, there are moments in music where you need it.
Yeah, not as a general rule, no.
Yeah. Obviously, you need sometimes tensions, but you have to know how to release the sound. You know, and that's not only for orchestra musicians. Like every great musician has a great sound. They produce a great sound. You know, Pavarotti or whatever, or Marta Argerich is playing this week. You know, Carlos Kleiber with his conducting. So there is always an element, an approach to sounds that you need to have. And you never get that if you're tensed, right? And as an orchestra musician, especially not playing too early, you know, being relaxed and breathing. Even
breathe
sometimes
with the others.
when the conductor is giving you a strange beat, tensed, you know, and nervous. These are also just human beings, and they're very nervous sometimes when they're in front of the orchestra. You have to know how to breathe with the group and not let be influenced by that, you know.
Don't be seduced by
Exactly. So just
incapable conductors.
well, it's a little harsh. Yeah, that's a good. I think that's a good advice. I would say always stay with the group and breathe with this organism. Because if you let be influenced, you know, you're too early, you're too hard. You know, and being just relaxed physically and breathing already helps you with surviving. You know, in the orchestra.
And you listen to, right? It happens.
It happens all the time. Yeah, I think the important thing is obviously at the concert. Some people need to practice, right?
Yeah.
Some people need to
It's
practice.
very
It's very personal. Some people have great talent for sight reading.
Yeah.
They can read, you know, the most complicated piece of music, sight read, and it's almost perfect. Some people
think.
And some people need to practice. People are different, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
And some people sometimes, you know, you notice that they didn't practice, but you know that at the concert after 2 days of rehearsal they will do it.
If even the concert, he was not great then.
No,
Is there like a kind of peer pressure kind of thing?
I did not experience something like that. I remember fantastic solo cellists we had. Unfortunately, it's not so well off now. And we were playing Shostakovich 15th Symphony with rattle. Big cello solo in the slow movement, very difficult. He always came, say, 3 minutes before 10. He sees that thing and says, shit. And he was playing shit then.
Okay.
And then, in the interval, he was studying it for, say, 5 minutes. No problem. Second time, no problem. I wished I could do that.
We play a lot, you know, the quintet, the Berlin Philharmonic quintet with Tatiana Vasilieva. And we've experienced many times. We have a new piece, you know, and she comes unprepared. You know, she has 3 kids, a job in Amsterdam, teaching in Germany. So she comes and you know, doesn't know the piece, and you think, oh my God, you know. So she wills 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No problem.
So it's like, no problem.
Yeah.
It's quite surprising that you guys never had those kind of experience.
No.
Yeah.
Somebody be unable in concert, you know, you messing up completely.
No. I mean, if you think about it, like just to get the job, it's so hard. Then you really have to be able to play. You cannot hide in the audition year. And then have 2 years of trial that you really have, you know, being constantly.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So sorry. Can we have just one?
Yeah, sure.
So sorry. It's like a balance game.
We're gonna show you 2 different shooters.
But you have to take one.
Yes.
Only one. You cannot choose.
Beethoven and Wagner. No.
That's a very, very hard choice.
That's impossible.
Very hard
That's
choice.
a draw.
Yes. A draw is very diplomatic.